I woke up to frost on my windshield and a crick in my neck that felt like a knife. My car. I was sleeping in my car. I reached for my phone. Battery at 11%. I opened my banking app with shaking fingers. Checking account, $9.47. 3 overdraft notices, 2 credit cards maxed. 1 savings account, empty. Then Instagram autoplayed a story that made my blood stop. My sister, my fiancé, clinking champagne glasses in a hotel suite I could never afford. Designer luggage stacked behind them. The geotag read the Ritz-Carlton. I zoomed in. That robe he was wearing? Monogrammed. How did I go from a 6-figure savings account to sleeping in a Honda Civic in 48 hours? Stick with me. Wherever you are, whatever time it is, you need to hear this. And if you've ever trusted the wrong people, hit that like button now. Because this gets worse before it gets better. I had proof. But first, you need to understand how I got here. My parents died in a car accident when I was 19. My sister Jenna was 16, pretty, popular, the kind of kid everyone roots for. I was the boring one, the responsible one. I worked 2 jobs to keep us afloat. Waited tables during the day, cleaned offices at night. I put Jenna through college. She partied. She barely graduated. I didn't have time to party. I was building something. I taught myself financial consulting from a laptop in a 400-square-foot studio. No degree, just grit. 6 years later, I had a client list and $140,000 in savings. 6 years of every single receipt saved. Every statement downloaded. Every email archived. I'm an auditor by training. I keep everything. Then I met Derek at a networking event 2 years ago. He was charming. He listened. He made me feel like I wasn't invisible. We moved in together 8 months ago. He worked in sales, or so he said. He suggested we open a joint account for the wedding fund. Our future, he called it. I transferred $60,000. Our future. 3 months later, my sister complained about her retail job. She was drowning in bills. Can you add me to one of your credit cards? She asked. Just for emergencies. $15,000 limit. Just in case. I said yes, because that's what family does. 3 weeks ago, Derek told me he wanted to surprise me with the wedding venue deposit. That's when it all started. Babe, just text me the login, Derek said the night before my client trip. I'll lock in the venue while you're gone. Trust me. I hesitated. I'd never given anyone my passwords, but he was my fiancé. We were building a life. I texted him the login. I was gone for 3 days. A big consulting gig 200 miles north. When I got home Friday night, the apartment felt wrong. His closet empty. The dresser drawers open and bare. My sister's emergency suitcase, the one she'd stored in my hallway closet, gone. I pulled out my phone and opened the banking app. Login credentials invalid. My heart dropped into my stomach. I called the bank fraud line. Waited on hold for 12 minutes. Ma'am, the joint account holder initiated a transfer of $78,000 from your individual savings to the joint account. Then he wired it out. You'll need to dispute this in person. I never authorized that. The system shows a signed wire authorization form. I checked my credit cards. 15,000, maxed, 10,000, maxed, 8,000, maxed, all cash advances, all on the same afternoon. I called Derek. He answered on speaker. I could hear my sister laughing in the background. You said I could handle the money. We're handling it. The line went dead. I stood in that half-empty apartment and realized I'd just lost everything. The bank branch manager looked at me like I was wasting her time. The wire authorization form has your signature, ma'am. If it's forged, you need a police report and a lawyer. I filed a police report. The officer shrugged. It's a civil matter. It's a joint account. He had legal access. I booked a consultation with a lawyer. It cost me $400 I didn't have. Do you have evidence he acted without your knowledge? The lawyer asked. Texts, emails, anything showing you didn't consent? I scrolled through my messages with Derek. All wedding talk. Cake flavors. Guest lists. He'd been careful. Nothing in writing about the money. The lawyer shook his head. Without proof, this is he said, she said. 5 days later, my landlord slid an eviction notice under my door. Rent was 10 days late. I had $9 in my account. I packed everything I could fit into my car: laptop, clothes, a box of files. That first night, I slept in the gym parking lot. I couldn't stop shaking. I thought I'd lost everything. My money, my home, my faith in people. But I had one thing they didn't know about: my audit files. I opened my laptop in that freezing car and started digging. My breath fogged the windshield as I opened my cloud storage. 6 years of files. Every bank statement. Every email. Every contract. I navigated to the folder labeled Bank Statements, Joint Account. There, an auto-forwarded email from the bank. Subject line: Wire authorization confirmed. $78,000 to account ending in 4391. I looked at the timestamp. March 14th. 2:14 p.m. I opened my calendar. March 14th, 1 to 4 p.m. Client presentation, Oakwood Capital. 180 miles north of my apartment. I pulled up the Zoom recording link from that meeting. There I was, on camera, presenting financial models. At 2:14 p.m., I was on a video call. Not at a bank. Then I opened the wire authorization form attached to the email. I zoomed in on the signature. Then I pulled up my real signature from the original account opening documents I'd saved. The loops were different. The slant was wrong. The capital D didn't match. I took screenshots of both, side by side. I labeled a new folder: Evidence, Forgery. I updated my police report and attached everything. 2 hours later, Detective Ramirez called me back. "Ma'am, this changes things. I'm going to need to bring them in for questioning." That was just the first piece. When I checked my credit card statements, I found something even worse. Detective Ramirez called Derek and Jenna in for questioning. 3 days later, I got an email from a law firm I'd never heard of. Subject: Cease and desist, harassment and defamation. I opened it. My hands were shaking. The letter claimed I had given verbal authorization for all transfers. It said I was experiencing a mental health crisis and making false accusations. It demanded I withdraw my police report within 72 hours, or they'd sue me for emotional distress. That same afternoon, my sister posted on Facebook, "Some people can't handle other people's happiness. Boundaries are healthy," followed by a nail polish emoji and sparkles. Within an hour, 3 mutual friends messaged me. "Hey, Derek said you're going through something. Are you okay?" They believed him, not me. I was sitting in my car behind a 24-hour diner when I got the next blow. A knock on my window. A parking enforcement officer. "This is private property. Your car's being towed." I had to Uber to the impound lot. $280 to get my car back. I paid it with the last of the money my old mentor had wired me. I sat in that impound lot parking space and stared at my phone. 52 hours until the cease and desist deadline. They weren't just stealing my money, they were stealing my credibility. But I had an appointment I'd forgotten about, with my biggest client. Catherine Park's office was on the 42nd floor downtown. I showed up in the same clothes I'd slept in. I'd washed my face in the diner bathroom. Catherine took one look at me and closed her office door. "You look like hell." "What happened?" I broke. I told her everything in 90 seconds. Fiancé, sister, money gone. Living in my car. She didn't blink. "Show me." I opened my laptop. Pulled up my credit card statement. 3 cash advances. March 14th and 15th. ATMs on Main Street. Total, $33,000. Then I pulled up my call log. March 14th, 3 to 5:30 p.m. video conference with your team. I was on camera the entire time. Catherine leaned forward. "Request the ATM surveillance footage." I submitted the request that afternoon. 2 days later, the bank sent me 4 image files. I opened the first one. My heart stopped. Derek, standing at an ATM, my credit card in his hand. His face crystal clear. Timestamp March 14th, 3:41 p.m. While I was on a video call with Catherine's team, I labeled the file, Receipt number 2. ATM surveillance, card theft. Catherine looked at the photo. Her eyes went cold. You have everything you need, but you need a lawyer who won't back down. She picked up her phone. I know someone. One call. Everything changed. Catherine introduced me to Marcus. Her attorney, he worked fast. Within a week, he'd subpoenaed financial records for Derek and Jenna. I sat across from him in his office while he walked me through the findings. Your fiancé has $91,400 in gambling debts, Marcus said. Offshore poker sites. Collection started in January. He slid a second document across the table. Your sister defaulted on 3 credit cards. Total, $12,300. A creditor filed a lawsuit against her February 28th. Then he opened his laptop and turned it toward me. We subpoenaed Venmo records. Look at this message thread. November. Jenna to Derek. She'll never notice if we're smart. January. Derek to Jenna. I'm in deep. Need at least $80K, you in? March 10th. Jenna to Derek. She's going out of town next week. That's our window. March 13th. The day before they stole everything. Derek to Jenna. Once we drain it, we fly to Miami, then Costa Rica. She's too boring to chase us, followed by a laughing emoji. I stared at the screen. My voice came out flat. They never loved me. I was a piggy bank. Marcus closed the laptop. Now we know exactly what we're dealing with. I looked up at him. What do? We take it all back. Catherine stood by the window of Marcus's office. I'll cover the retainer, she said. $15,000. You consult for me for the next year at a discounted rate. Deal? I felt tears break for the first time in 2 weeks. Deal. Marcus opened a new file on his computer. We're filing an emergency motion to freeze their accounts and recover your funds. We're also escalating the criminal charges: forgery, identity theft, grand theft. This is no longer a civil dispute. He filed the motion Monday morning. The hearing was set for Friday. He issued subpoenas, hotels, airlines, Venmo, 3 banks. Catherine offered me her guest house. I finally slept in a bed. I showered. I ate a real meal. For the first time in weeks, I wasn't angry. I was focused. I opened my laptop and drafted a single-line email to Derek and Jenna's attorney. See you in court. Evidence attached. I attached every receipt, every screenshot, every statement. Then I hit send. Marcus looked over my shoulder and smiled. Now we wait. Friday came fast. I put on the one clean blazer I still owned. Catherine drove me to the courthouse. I walked through those doors with my head up. They had no idea what was coming. The courtroom was smaller than I expected. I sat beside Marcus at the plaintiff's table. Catherine sat in the gallery behind me. Derek and Jenna walked in with their attorney. Jenna wore a designer dress I'd never seen before. Bought with my money. They sat at the defendant's table. Derek whispered something to his lawyer. Jenna scrolled through her phone. They looked confident. Judge Harrison entered. We all stood. This is a petition for emergency asset freeze and recovery, the judge said, scanning the file. Counsel, present your evidence. Marcus stood. He was calm, controlled. Your Honor, we have 4 categories of proof. He connected his laptop to the courtroom screen. The first image appeared. A side-by-side comparison. Forged signature versus my real signature. Receipt number 1, forged wire authorization. Note the inconsistent loops and slant. The timestamp shows the form was submitted March 14th at 2:14 p.m. He clicked to the next slide. My calendar. The Zoom recording thumbnail. During that exact time, my client was 180 miles away on a recorded video conference. Derek's lawyer started to stand. The judge held up a hand. Continue. Marcus clicked again. The ATM surveillance photo filled the screen. Derek's face. My credit card in his hand. Timestamp visible. Receipt number 2. ATM surveillance from March 14th, 3:41 p.m. The defendant, using my client's card without authorization, while she was still on that video call, murmurs in the courtroom. Jenna stopped scrolling. Marcus clicked to the next slide. The Venmo messages. Receipt number 3. A message thread between the two defendants, spanning 5 months. March 13th, the day before the theft. Once we drain it, we fly to Miami, then Costa Rica. She's too boring to chase us. The courtroom went silent. Marcus advanced to the final slide. Gambling debts. Collection lawsuit. Receipt number 4. Motive. Defendant 1 owes $91,000 in gambling debts. Defendant 2 is facing a creditor lawsuit for over $12,000. He turned off the screen. Your Honor, this was premeditated theft, forgery, and identity fraud. Derek's attorney stood. Your Honor, our clients maintain there was verbal... Judge Harrison cut him off. He tapped the screen where the ATM photo had been. Verbal consent doesn't explain that photograph. Or these messages. He looked at the prosecutor, who'd been sitting quietly in the back. Has the district attorney's office filed charges? The prosecutor stood. Yes, Your Honor. Felony forgery, identity theft, and grand theft. Arraignment is scheduled for next month. Judge Harrison nodded. He looked down at Derek and Jenna. Motion granted. All defendant accounts are frozen effective immediately. Funds are to be returned to the petitioner within 10 business days. I'm also issuing a restraining order. No contact with the petitioner. The criminal matter will proceed separately. He brought down the gavel. It was over. In the hallway, Jenna tried to approach me. Mascara streaked down her face. Please, I'm sorry. I didn't think... I walked past her without a word. I stepped outside into the sunlight. And I breathed. The money came back in 7 days. $78,000 deposited into a new account I'd opened. The banks reversed all the fraudulent credit card charges. Total recovered. $111,000. Derek and Jenna both took plea deals to avoid trial. Felony charges reduced to misdemeanors. Full restitution already paid. 200 hours of community service each. 3 years of probation. The restraining order became permanent. I didn't go to their sentencing. Marcus sent me a summary by email. I deleted it without reading it. I had more important things to do. I signed a lease on a new apartment. 1 bedroom. Nothing fancy. But it was mine. I set up a desk in the 2nd bedroom and sent out my first invoice since the theft. Catherine's firm signed me to a year-long consulting contract. 3 of her colleagues hired me too. By the end of the year, my revenue was up 40%. But the biggest thing I did was start a nonprofit. I called it the Second Chance Financial Project. We teach teenagers and young adults how to budget, how to protect themselves, how to spot financial abuse before it's too late. I named it in memory of my parents. 6 months after the court case, my sister sent a letter through her attorney. I returned it unopened. The restraining order is still active. I have no plans to lift it. I keep a framed photo of my parents on my desk now. Sometimes I look at it and I think about what they'd say. I learned 3 things through all of this. 1. Trust isn't something you give. It's something you earn, and it can be lost in a single moment. 2. Boundaries aren't cruel. They're necessary. Protecting yourself isn't the same as punishing someone else. 3. The best revenge isn't a spectacle. It's silence. And success. You can't control who betrays you, but you can control who you become after. So here's my question for you. Have you ever had to cut off a family member or a partner who betrayed you? What would you have done in my place? Drop your story in the comments. I read every single one. And if this story hit home, if it reminded you that you're stronger than you think, subscribe. We share real stories about boundaries, about justice, about rebuilding your life after betrayal. New video every week. I don't live in my car anymore. I live on my terms. One last thing. This story is a fictionalized dramatization based on real events and themes. It is not legal or financial advice. If you're in a similar situation, please consult a licensed attorney or financial advisor in your area. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.